This is Tanya Francine with the National Weather Service Skywarn program, reminding you to keep an eye to the sky and listen to the XJ Talk Show.
Good evening. This is Tony with the XJ Talk Show. My cohort Josh is already on the line. Looks like your mic's live, Josh.
Oh, great. Hey, everybody.
I've got my hours all messed up, and since I was off Friday through today, and used the time properly to stay up late and screw around doing things that when I should be sleeping. So just had a quick hour nap, even though I had just woke up around 1 o'clock today.
Oh wow! So are you fitting right in? The new place that is?
Oh, I don't start the new job till the 11th.
Oh, okay.
Oh, were you able to pull anything from that link that I put in the notes?
Link. I didn't see a link. I saw the picture of the iTunes reviews, if that's what you're talking about.
Let me have a quick look here. Well, what about in the email that I sent you?
The email, yeah, I got that one. I thought you were talking about one in the show notes there.
Yeah, that's where I had it originally. Maybe I removed it when I emailed it to you.
Oh, maybe I removed it actually. Yeah, I might have removed it as I wrote the story.
Okay, as long as you were able to find that and find anything useful in it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's actually going to be discussed tonight.
Okay, good. That's what I was asking. Yeah, I thought we'd just spend a little bit of time on iTunes reviews, just to maybe gin up a little interest in people doing some. I know that we've mentioned it in the past, but not really talked about it or gone over a few of them, even if we had spoke of them in the past.
You posted up something here recently on xjtalk.com about stats and sort of what percentage of people are listening to us through what channels.
Right.
And I kind of wanted to go into any of that as we sort of go over some of these reviews and stuff.
Sure.
Or leading into it.
I better pull that up so I'll have some idea. Oh, did you reconnect?
No, I didn't, but it seemed to have worked itself out.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is Andy from IronMan4x45.com, also known as Iron Man Andy. You're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
This is Courtney Holland with the Ventura County Off-Road Show, listening to the XJ Talk Show.
So I was talking to Matt earlier, and he was telling me that there's not a lot of celebrities walking around at SEMA.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Figured there would be every now and again, or they'd have them out by booths and stuff like that, just sort of put a face out there.
Yeah, I think that's what it is the booth thing, not so much walking around type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is fine. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. And, I think the show size and, amount of goodies to look at is probably, the main draw. I forget the guy's name. Paul Senior or something like that. The guy for the motorcycle show.
What? Orange County Choppers or whatever it is.
Yeah, Matt said the guy's about 5'4".
Yeah, no, he's a shorty.
He said he was surprised about that. He saw him walking around.
Well, it's like Sly Stallone. That guy's
about
5'6".
I've always known he's not very big.
boy. There's a healthcare reform law seminar at SEMA this year.
Oh, good. Probably show you how to slit your wrists appropriately.
Right?
Yeah, that appears to have been the tipping point for the liberal media, as they do appear to be actually reporting the news now instead of the leans. $25A, right?
Yes, sir.
Jim sent me a message on Google Plus and said, the XJ Talk Show's off this week, right? No, it's not. It's not off. Although we could, I guess we don't have to do the show. We could just close up right now and go back to what we're doing, right?
I suppose we do have the authority to do such a thing.
We can use that opener next week, right?
Yeah, that's not date specific.
He says, oh, I thought you were in Vegas. I'll send out the link on social media. Don't leave for Vegas until Tuesday. Got a message from Matt. He says, wish me luck. I'm about to board the plane. You know, it's comments like that that make me nervous.
Oh, really?
Well, his wife booked them a flight on Spirit Airlines, and so I followed suit by booking on Spirit. I've never flown Spirit.
I've never heard of Spirit.
Yeah, they're new, and so he says, "Wish me luck." It's on an Airbus, damn it! So it's a new plane.
I was going to say, you walk out onto the tarmac and there's this rickety old DC-10 or something there.
This is great. I remember this from that Indiana Jones movie.
Exactly.
Where's the life raft, the inflatable life raft, in case we need it?
This program for a special XJ Talk news break. Scientists discover strange beam from outer space making people think, and there's nothing you can do about it.
XJ Talk Show is on the air. Okay, it's a podcast. Oh, you know what I mean. Anyway, here's Tony and Josh.
Episode 101. That's one more than 100. Welcome to the show, and welcome, Josh.
Well, thanks, Tony, and welcome to you too, and welcome to all of our listeners, and of course, members from xjtalk.com. The reason why we're here and doing this sort of thing.
Yeah, Josh and I are real Jeep Cherokee owners with real Jeep Cherokee problems. Yeah. You probably know me as Mutteroy on xjtalk.com. And, well, Tony or Mutteroy or just the not as cute guy on the XJ Talk Show.
Oh, yeah. And you know me as NW99XJ or Northwest99XJ on xjtalk.com. And you can find me as Josh as well, which is what I go by.
And, we recently, I'm going to put Josh on the spot again. Josh, have you seen our new show logo?
No, I haven't. I knew that we had something in the works, but I didn't see anything.
Yep. It's a better done picture, I believe, and you need to catch it. Of course, you can see it on YouTube. You can see it on our Facebook channel, Google Plus, every place we are, even Twitter. So if you guys aren't watching there, you're missing out on little little tidbits, little posts that come up on xjtalk.com. Also, two notifications whenever the XJ Talk show is going to be on, which actually is every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Central Time. And the time changed. I wonder how many people we lost because they think it is the show should have been on an hour ago.
I was worried. I actually had to do a little bit of research. I didn't know if daylight savings time affected where you're at. So I thought it was sort of specific to certain time zones, but I could be mistaken.
Yeah, if recollection is correct, it's Arizona that is the only sane state that ignores it completely. Well, we have all these farms and stuff that we have to have these kids getting up and, in time to milk the chickens and pluck the eggs so they can go to school or something. I don't know.
Or something like that. Yeah.
So what the hell's going on?
Well, I wanted to give thanks to those who played along in last week's Amazon.com You Bought and What segment and give a big congrats to our winner. Was it Jake?
Yes.
Who won the winner of our grand prize giveaway of the Rugged Ridge Winch Recovery Gear Kit. That was a lot of fun, and of course we enjoyed having everybody who tried calling in, didn't win. Of course, we'll probably be doing something again here in the near future.
Yep.
But it was a great show, and glad to have everybody on board.
Yep, and Jake will be getting you that shipping information just as soon as we get it, so you'll know when you're going to get it.
Yeah, very good. No, I definitely I'll be looking forward to episode 200 or even 250 if we make it that far. Boy, that's a long ways away, I think.
Seems like it. That's a couple of years, isn't it? I mean, for 200 to be a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, I mean, yeah, that's right. Because 52 weeks would be 104.
Yeah, it'll probably be 2.5 years with a couple of vacations in there and such. But yeah.
So the next vacation do we do the thing like we're leaving, playing Happy Trails to you and waving, and really play it up, or is that going to be calling wolf too many times?
Well, maybe that's just a tradition that we do, and we make it seem like that every single year, and the veteran listeners will of course get it, and everybody else will freak out. So,
of course, we're assuming they'll freak out, and some of them won't go. It's about damn time. How could these people last this long?
So yeah, no, it's on the home stretch. I guess you could say we're into triple digit shows now, so I think that's just awesome, and we're glad to have you guys going on, and of course we'll be introducing new stuff to the show as the weeks and months go on, and we are of course going to stick with all of our favorites and stuff. So glad you guys are here, and glad you guys came along for the ride.
Yep. So getting ready to go to SEMA, and when I say getting ready to, I mean I'm going, not Josh.
Yeah, no, I'm jealous. I'm gonna have to live vicariously through emails and Twitter updates and all that sort of stuff. And of course, I'll be looking forward to the whole report, when you get back and we do the next show.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, I'm changing jobs at the same time that I'm doing this Zima thing. I said Zima like the drink when I'm doing this SEMA thing, and it's kind of an interesting deal where. I'm actually going on this week-long trip in between my last job of 5 years and my new job, which will be hopefully 5 years or even longer. So I'll be going to SEMA this week along with my lovely wife, and we'll be up there through Saturday. Of course, SEMA won't be on Saturday. SEMA ends on Friday, and but looking forward to that. Not really looking forward to the 3-hour plane trip up there and the packing and doing all the stuff, that you don't really feel like doing. I guess there's a certain amount of excitement that goes along with that. We're not big travelers. The last time we went anywhere was Vegas, and that's when we got married about 20 years ago. So we've gone places by vehicle, around visiting people, not really stayed overnight any place. It's always nice having home and having the home bed and the home pillows. So
no doubt.
And so not so much looking forward to that, but it'll be nice getting out and doing things. And I have traveled quite a bit for work over the years, but it never was that much fun for very long because I was always by myself. So,
well, you're going to be surrounded by, imagine, several 100,000 people or something like that at the SEMA show. I mean, it's a big deal, and I think you're going to have an absolute blast.
Oh, I think it'll be a lot of fun. Now, I mean, there's always been people where I've been, but I don't know them. It's not the same as having a buddy with you, a friend, a wife, that you can look at things and make fun of people and eat to excess, and
So have you had a chance to look at the sort of the site or the show map of sort of how everything's going to be laid out and maybe plan where you're going to go or anything like that?
Well, I figure if I've got Tuesday through Friday planned, doesn't make much difference. I'll have plenty of time to see everything.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Now, Matt actually spoke with me about this a couple of weeks ago. He and his wife were looking at doing some off-road, and I may have mentioned this before, some off-road fun in those side-by-side, I call them golf carts, but they have 110 horsepower. So apparently they'll move along the desert pretty well. So I think we're going to be going and doing that on Thursday. So that'll be something interesting to do.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I wish I could spend a couple days in the big hall where all the exhibits and the shows are and stuff like that. I guess it's going to be completely different than years prior. They brought in some sort of specific designer who's a big hot rod designer guy of some sorts, and his artwork is going to be all over the place. And I guess the moment you walk in, you're going to notice a difference. Had seen other shows prior. Other SEMA shows prior. This one's going to be, I guess, extra special and completely brand new.
Yeah, interesting. No, I really haven't read anything about it. With all the stuff that's been going on with the job and other things in life, I haven't spent much time doing any research. I mean, I figured it was like all I need to do is be able to get to the airport and get to the hotel and then get to the where the show is, and the rest of it will work itself out.
Well, put this in perspective, Tony. SEMA, or the special. I forgot what it stood for. The special. I forgot. Anyways,
special
the
equipment. Let's see, what is it? And manufacturers
Association.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah,
I read it earlier today because I was looking some stuff up for a website that I was doing.
Well, I always get SEMA and CES confused. Consumer Electronics Show, which is another one I've also wanted to go to for a long time. But 135,000 industry leaders. So you imagine a very good portion of that are actually going to have booths. 135,000 industry leaders and from more than 100 countries are going to be there. And that's not including the other, guests and celebrities and all this other stuff that ends up showing up.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
I agree with you about CES. That's another one I'd like to see. I've missed that one over the years. And first things first, I'll do the one that has does the vehicles, and then maybe we can still figure a way to do the CES in the future. It's around the same time of year, isn't it? I mean, like the first part of 2014 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the second. It's usually in February, I think. It's around there because usually March is when they release all the new stuff, which is what you'd seen the month prior at CES. See, I almost did it there.
I think that I don't know if Zima is still in existence or not, but if I was the manufacturer of Zima, I would look at promoting being the main sponsor at SEMA, so you could say, and SEMA brought to you by Zima. It would just be really confusing. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about Jeeps. I think I mentioned, maybe I didn't, last show about the 99 having some death wobble.
Yeah.
And I went out. I'm sorry?
I was going to say, what's going on with that? Did you track anything down?
Well, I moved the track bar off of the 98 onto the 99. I had the rough country heavy duty track bar, which was a replacement. That's the one that has the bracket that goes onto the unibody, which was a replacement because I bent the original one, which is not a good sign, which means that's kind of the one I want to get off there before I take it off road again and bend it. And interestingly enough, Matt bent his as well. Also a rough country track bar.
Very interesting. I wonder if they're prone to that now. That's two people having the same issue. Did it bend in the same place? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know that he took a picture of it. But he got a replacement, and what he did was he went with Ironman 4x4fab.com Ironman Andy's what he calls extreme duty track bar, which is notably larger in diameter than what the one is from Rough Country. Anyway, he went with that one and took his off, and then Jim Brasscats, he actually put that on his Jeep. So that's what I did with mine. I got one of Ironman Andy's extreme duty track bars and put that on my 98, and then took the one off of the RC that I had just taken off of the 98 and put it on the 99, and went out and did a test drive, and nope, death wobble. You could feel it starting to come on, and slowed down a little bit and continued on. Now, of course, this was after looking up underneath the under the Jeep, having somebody do the steering wheel back and forth, and seeing that the pitman arm that was attached to the the tie rod end that was attached to the pitman arm was moving a little bit, and so was the tie rod end that is attached to the factory bracket at the unibody. Mm-hmm. So I figured it was probably pretty plainly those two tie rod ends. So I really didn't want to go with another factory track bar on there, although that would have been fine, but it looked like an opportunity to upgrade on the 98, and certainly have an upgrade for the 99.
Yeah.
So did all that, but the death wobble continued. So placed an order from Amazon for some more tie rod ends. I already had a drag link, a Moog drag link that I didn't install. I didn't really see the point, especially I don't like the idea of taking those tie rod ends that are attached to the thing off just to have to redo it again. So once the two tie rod ends came in, I put in the drag link, and let me make sure I'm understanding this right, because I think I get a little confused on the parts. The piece that I call the drag link is the one where the tie rod end that attaches to the passenger side knuckle and goes up to the pitman arm.
Yes, that would be the drag link. Yeah, okay. It's connected to the pitman arm. That's what actually turns essentially the knuckle, and then the tie rod, which is connected from about the midway point of that, goes to the other knuckle.
Yes. Okay. So I put in the Moog drag link, and then also ordered a steering stabilizer, just because that other one that was on there had 160,000 miles on it, and replaced it. And thankfully, it was a little larger in diameter. So it's with the 30-inch tires on there, a little bit more. In the shock department, in the steering stabilizer department would be welcome. So I have yet to test drive it, but my daughters have been driving it, and I know that my older daughter got really scared with the death wobble on the interstate. So she has not, as far as I know, taken it back on the interstate. I cautioned them to just see how it feels, and then once you feel confident that it's not going to be an issue, then, take it back on the highway. Mm-hmm. So it appears to be fixed. I'll probably take it for a test drive. It's gone so much because they both work. They both have after school jobs. They both attend college. So they're gone just a lot. So unless I want to, work on the Jeep for a couple hours and then go in and get all cleaned up and then go back out and test drive it, man, it's usually gone by then.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe I'll get a chance to test drive it tomorrow, and I'll take it up to speed and abuse it to see if it's going to do it, because I don't like death wobble, but I know it's not going to kill you.
Oh yeah, no, nobody likes death wobble, and I know we could probably spend an entire show going over all the things about death wobble, and of course, tips on how to fix it and everything else like that. And maybe we'll do that one of these days. For this show, we got some other stuff in store for you guys. But if you'd like some tips, if you're experiencing death wobble and there's you're looking for some ideas on how to fix it, well, you head over to xjtalk.com and just peruse through the threads. I'm sure just an easy search function, and boy, you're going to find a lot of really good information on xjtalk.com about death wobble.
Yeah, and if you'd like to hear somebody talk about it, you can go to the xjtalkshow.com and do a search for death wobble. I know that we have a couple of interviews. I know Ironman Andy, I think that was episode 69 or 70 that he spoke about death wobble. And I know Steve 4.3 LXJ has also spoken about death wobble. So, but yeah, we will cover it again in the future because it's something that comes up, and not everybody's going to go back and look in the past episodes for the information.
No, absolutely. All kinds of good information there on the site, and of course we're adding stuff all the time.
So, have you been given any love to your XJ? Have you even seen it? Are you just are you just now a Honda person exclusively?
Well, no, unfortunately, I have to do the walk of shame every morning down the driveway with it staring at me. I'm sorry. I'll drive you soon. We'll get on the trail soon. You'll see dirt soon. Trust me. No, it's, I actually drove it just the other day. In fact, I had an interview. Well, let me take it back just a little bit. For those who following the build thread, I've got an aftermarket of sorts rear bumper on the back of it. It was shortly after I actually bought the Jeep that I, perused through Craigslist, as I often do, and found a local fabricator who was building off-road bumpers. And I happened to have a little bit extra money left over after the sale of the Jeep, or after the purchase of the Jeep. So I called him up, and knowing that I really wanted to do bumpers fairly soon on it, the front obviously got pushed back quite a ways, but the rear bumper, he asked me what I was looking for, and I was like, well, kind of like exactly what you have posted up here, but I would, I'd like something sort of styled after the Stage 2 JCR bumper. And he's like, oh yeah, I can do that. And we, quabbled about a price for a little bit, and then he ended up building me exactly what I wanted. Everything was just great. I didn't get a chance to put it on right away, so I sat on it for a few months or so. When I went to go put it on, I found out that, the jig was off when he made it, and it sat about 3/16 of an inch too tall, so it wouldn't let the rear gate and the rear hatch close.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, it's so I was like, oh, geez, I'm really looking forward to putting this on, and now I can't. So it was like a year later before I finally got sick of just looking at it in the garage or whatever, and decided, all right, I'm just going to have to modify this thing to get it to fit right. Now, in the meantime, I had texted the guy, tried calling him, left voicemails, emailed him, virtually every form of contact I could think of to get a hold of him. And there was a couple times where we played some phone tag, and eventually he just sort of dropped off the face of the earth. And I was never given the chance to get this thing taken care of. So I never really badmouthed him or anything like that. I think I had posted up something along the lines of where I kind of thought it was a shady deal, whatever. But nonetheless, I, ovaled out some holes and I got it mounted up on the Jeep. I wouldn't trust it as a recovery point, which is why, I got a class 3 trailer hitch in the back there, and it's all anchored in with the JCR nut strips. So, long story short, a few years went by, and I'm on Jeep Forum a lot as well, and he posted up that, hey, I'm back. I ran into some trouble. I know I've wronged some people in the past, and I'd like to make it right. And he went on and on and on about, sort of what had happened and everything, and really being sincere about wanting to make right the people who he'd wronged in the past. And who you are. If you know these people, have them get a hold of me. And he listed out a bunch of contact information. So I know he was genuine. So I shot him a private message, and I also shot him an email. Told him, I was like, hey, this is who I am. This is where we met when I bought the bumper. You may remember this. And he's like, oh yeah, no, I remember you. And so, ended up actually heading up there with the Jeep to his new shop that he's got out in the East County of Vancouver, Washington, and did a little interview with him. And it was really cool because he's got a very, very interesting story to tell. His name is Danny Rourke, and he's got a partner named Zach, and they have a little company called RTR Fabrication that they've started up. And they're going to end up taking care of me for the way that Danny ended up sort of not doing his part as customer service goes in the past, and I'm going to get a whole new rear bumper made. And it's to my specifications with a few things that, I would have liked to have seen or have done on this bumper had I, had the time and means to actually modify it. So, which is really cool. I told him, I was like, look, I'm in no rush, a couple few weeks rather, take care of some other things you guys have in the coming, with some customers. And, we'll, get a new bumper on my rig here in about a month or so. And they're both super fine with that. And they're looking forward to actually, being supporters of the show and the vendors on xjtalk.com. So we'll be seeing a lot more of RTR Fabrication, and you're actually going to hear an interview with them next week.
Now, I don't want to say anything bad about these folks. I mean, they're new and, the guys turned over a new leaf, but are you a little concerned based on what happened in the past? And should our listeners be concerned?
I was initially, I sort of went into this with a little trepidation, and after sitting down and talking with him, and he's been in very regular communication with me ever since. And he's been 100% genuine and forthcoming with everything, and really, really peeled back the layers of the onion of this story. He got rather personal in the interview, and dug pretty deep. And ordinarily, I don't mind hearing stories of trials and tribulation and stuff like that, but this guy has really been through the ringer, and he's a little bit older now, and he realizes sort of how the ways that he's wronged people in the past, and he's definitely turned over a new leaf. They have a very decent little facility going on. It's not just little hokey poke garage operation here. They actually have some serious stuff going on. So I have nothing but the utmost faith in these guys that this time next year they're going to have one heck of an operation going on.
Well, I'm sure you'll let us know if things don't work out the way you're hoping, and even though you're not at further financial risk, certainly waiting for another bumper that can in itself be maddening or frustrating if that doesn't turn out. So, like I said, I'm sure you'll be letting us know. We don't want to just put people onto something for the sake of putting them onto something. We want to make sure that it's a good deal and up, good customer service, and we'll be here to let you know when it's not good customer service.
Well, what I'm planning on doing is trying to get a couple testimonials here in the meantime, and because I know they've got a few people they've done some roof racks for. In fact, one guy they just finished a project for a guy who's got, I think it's a Land Cruiser. I'm not 100% sure, but they did a full set of bumpers, I believe, and a roof rack for him with these what they call limb lines. I guess it's eyelets on both the roof rack and the bumper where you string a cable from. And as you go through deep brush, the cable is the brush sort of follows the line of the cable up and around and keeps it off the windshield and keeps it off your windows and stuff. And this guy's planning on driving it from here clear down to South America rather.
Yeah, South Africa. Now that would be that would be a story. That'd be a good YouTube video there, right there.
Exactly. Yeah. No. So he's got to pass over the Panama Canal at least. So, but I mean, this guy's driving from my area, Pacific Northwest, clear down to South America. So that's going to be something else.
This is Dan from the 4x4 podcast, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
The XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
We welcome and look forward to your questions and comments. Dial 530-675-4102 and leave your message on our 24/7 voicemail.
I know you've heard us talk about Amazon on the podcast before, but have you heard about our new game?
You bought what?
It's a lot of fun, and we want you guys to play along. All you have to do is go to xjtalk.com or xjtalkshow.com and click on the Amazon banner there on the main page. This takes you right to Amazon, where you can buy any crazy little thingamajig to join in on the fun. Amazon gives us a list every week of what you guys are buying, but we don't get to know who it is that's buying it. As an added bonus, you get the same great price you always would, and Amazon is going to give the show a small pittance for you playing along. So let's all have some fun. The XJ Talk Show and Amazon.com.
Hey guys, so we want to talk a little bit tonight about some iTunes reviews, and we've mentioned it in the past that hey, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on iTunes, et cetera, but we really haven't put much emphasis on it. And we've had some good reviews, and I thought it might be a good idea for us to kind of go back and regurgitate some of those past reviews, because they're very interesting, very creative, a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, there's been a couple that have really stood out in my mind, stuff that's really, really, struck home with me, because this is sort of we've asked you guys for voicemails in the past, and of course, reviews of all kinds are fine and dandy with just a simple star rating, but with actually getting a chance to sort of leave a review, leave a message of sorts, you sort of get to get that personal interaction and feedback from those who are actually listening to the show. And it means something to them. And some of these are absolutely great.
So I do believe this is a new one that came in on September 29th, and I just not in the habit of checking these things. We don't see them that often, so apologies to the individual that we missed back in the end of September. But anyway, this one starts, I don't even own an XJ, 5 stars. And what is that, Josh? RD?
Oh, you would have to call me out on that one. I was trying to think of that too. I was squinting at the screen. So I'm going to apologize for both myself and Tony trying to not butcher this name, but Ardestroyers.
It's almost like Our Destroyers, but just roasters.
Yeah. Anyways, big thanks for that 5-star review. Tony, what did he have to say about the show?
He says, guys, at least I think it's a he. Guys, I freaked. Sorry, guys, I'm reading this ahead, and it's pretty funny. Guys, I freaked a while back when I thought you were going off the air. I do own a TJ and subscribe to your web forums. And even though I listen to other subjects via podcast on my phone, you guys are the best. It's like listening to my best friends. I felt an obligation to finally write a review and help even in the smallest way to your show. Keep it going.
That's great. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate the help that we've gotten from our outside listeners. People sending stuff to the show all the time. It's absolutely fantastic. And getting the reviews and the feedback like that, really, makes all this worthwhile.
Yeah, it makes a big difference in coming here every week and doing the show. It's a lot of fun, but I've said it before. If you got a can with a string and you think nobody's holding the other can, it's not so much fun.
Yeah.
And as an only child, I know what that's like, Josh.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I can't relate on that level exactly, but here's a guy who's given us a one-of-a-kind rating, or at least calls our show one-of-a-kind. 5-star review back in August by Bossman XJ. Says, great show with witty banter, good balance between actual real-world off-road knowledge and analytical engineering perspective. So, I mean, between the two of us, I guess we're giving him everything that he's looking for in a podcast. 5-star review, Bossman XJ, saying we're one of a kind.
And then this is from July 24th. Thumbs up 5 stars by Mr. XDM40. See, if you can't pronounce it, just read off all the letters.
Right.
I'm coming back to the off-road world after about 10 years or so, and this show is helping a lot. But it's a little heavy on the commercials, but still a great show. Yeah, we were doing a lot of the commercials, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to read this one. And I may have mentioned this in the past. I'll just say again, I got kind of excited because I found this place that I could go and get these voiceovers, these voice drops made for really not much money at all. So I was a little over anxious to play these on the show. It's it's like when you get something for your Jeep and you might make the modification and get it on there. You want to take it out and try it. So I've calmed down a little bit since then.
Yeah, no, we got a few of those reviews, and even if it's a 5-star review, a 3-star review, whatever it is, a voicemail giving us constructive criticism, guys, we love to hear it because that just gives us an opportunity to improve on the show. Adapt things a little bit, switch things up, and of course, maybe add a little bit of different flavor to it.
This is just like having a Jeep and going off road. We're learning by doing. We don't have a vast back experience of radio or podcasting, so we need your help.
Yeah, and we got plenty of help from all of our listeners out there. Of course, I get help almost on a weekly basis with This Week in Jeep segments. But we got another review came in. This is back in July. Where it calls us the Definitive XJ Podcast. RJR Rodriguez says, not only is this a great way to pass the time in traffic while sitting in your Jeep Cherokee, but Tony and Josh bring you many great interviews and tips weekly. And that's just what we're trying to do, guys. Give you guys some good tips with some of our tech segments, give you guys a little bit of entertainment as well, and of course provide you with some interviews every now and again with industry professionals and other off-road enthusiasts.
And we have another one from Joe M.N. Great podcast, 5 stars. This is back from June 29th. I just picked up my first Jeep this spring and didn't know a lot of what I was getting myself into. Very glad I started listening to the podcast. a lot of great information and put together in an easy listening format, as long as we're not reading. Keep up the good work. As long as we're not reading it, Josh, it's easy to listen to.
Exactly. No, that's good. I mean, some great feedback from somebody who is a first-time Jeep Cherokee owner. The site is full of useful information, xjtalk.com, for the first-time XJ wrench turner, first-time XJ owner, first-time builder, or even for the veteran guys out there who are doing their own fabrication work. From beginning to end, xjtalk.com is definitely your premier source for tech information and tips and tricks to help you guys along the way, regardless of what level of enthusiasm and the plans for your Jeep. And we got a review here from a guy.
Oh boy,
I'm not even gonna try, man. That's a lot.
Flaga no, it's like Aga Flag ass
Snurp. Aga Flaga Snurp.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. Well, he says the XJ Talk Show is awesome. Great podcast full of helpful information. Also, some great comic relief, especially from Nikki G.
Yes,
makes me giggle like a little girl every time. Love the show. Keep it up. And we plan to, believe me. And Nikki G has been a great addition to the show, calling in just without exception every week, leaving us a great voicemail. Of course, there's times where Tony and I get a little long-winded and we forget to play, or we don't have a chance to play the voicemails that we get. But Nikki G, nonetheless, sending them in, and they're always just absolute great work.
I think we're going to do a best of Nikki G.
We're going to have to. I think we're going to have to put together a little bit of a show reel of sorts and give you guys like 5 minutes of Nikki G or something.
Yeah. Well, that's our iTunes reviews that we had for this week. And if you picked up on it, we get a iTunes review about once a month, maybe twice, but generally about once a month. And I know that we've got a lot more listeners that could write iTunes reviews, and we'd really appreciate it if you might take a few moments of your time and rate the show and put a little something on there. It will help the show, because when people are looking for things to listen to on iTunes, if they see the number of reviews, they'll go, well, I'm going to give this show a chance and see if it's any good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tony recently posted up some specs as far as sort of the percentage of our listeners and where they're getting, where they're playing the show through or from. And I was surprised, in fact, that to see just how big of a percentage iTunes listeners comprises of our listening audience. I think it's great. I've badmouthed Apple in the past. Honestly, I don't care how you guys listen to the show, as long as you're listening and you're telling a friend about it. And Tony, did you have those numbers? Could you give us a breakdown as far as, maybe our top 3 or top 5, where people are going to listen to the XJ Talk Show?
Yeah, I just want to mention really quick, there's a podcast that I listen to, and the guy that does that podcast is a self-professed Apple fanboy. He purposely says things that are anti-Windows and pro-Apple. And I think anybody that has listened to this podcast very often knows I'm not an Apple fan. I don't think that they do a bad job. I think they do a good job. I just don't really like the idea of people making things or writing software where they do the thinking for you and remove the ability for you to do things the way you might want to do them. Now, with that said, they are making computing and even the little gizmos that are little computers, they are making computing a lot easier, a lot more accessible to a very wide audience, and that's what their success is. And they've also taught other companies like Microsoft that's important, and that's what the time and effort needs to go to that, so that everybody can enjoy computers in whatever form they are in. So hats off to them. They've made a bunch of changes in the industry, but I will always have a problem with them because I like being able to think. I like being able to have options. I like being able to have more than one button that does 27 different things.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Tony. I've not pulled any punches when it comes to my opinion on Apple or any of the iDevices, as it were, here on the show and other shows. But no, I mean, nonetheless, all of our iTunes and iPhone, iPad, iDevice listeners, you guys keep it up. It's all just in fun and games. We're sitting here giving you guys a bad time, or at least giving the manufacturer of your preferred listening devices a bad time. But nonetheless, we appreciate you guys listening.
Right. And the direction I was going here, I know it always bothered me whenever I would hear this guy badmouth Microsoft, the Windows platforms, because that's what I use. That's what I enjoy. That's what I make a living at. But I'm going to try to hold back a little bit on my Apple bashing, because I know how I feel when this guy bashes the Windows stuff, the Microsoft stuff. So I'm going to try not to bash the Apple stuff, even though it's a lot of fun. It's almost as much fun as bashing the 2014 Jeep Cherokee, Josh.
Well, I don't know about that.
At least Apple works, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, you got to give them that, I suppose. I was going to say, I don't know if there's anything more fun than bashing the 2014 Cherokee.
Okay, now back to the stats that Josh was asking about. Now, keep in mind, guys, we'd recently just moved on to Libsyn, which is a very well-used service in the podcast industry, and we only recently did it because I'm cheap. But the nice thing about it is it gives you really good stats, really interesting stats. So we've only had about 4 shows that we've published to Libsyn, and so only 4 shows or 4 weeks worth of stats. But looking at these stats are very interesting. We have a total of about 600 downloads on those 4 shows over the last 4 weeks. And this was just amazing to me that I guess it makes sense when you think about what I just said about Apple making devices that are easier for people to use. But there's this thing called Apple Core Media, which is, I think it has to do with all the little different devices that the iPad, maybe not so much the iPhone, I guess it could be, but the various Apple devices that use whatever the core media software that those devices use. Anyway, out of the 600 or so podcast downloads that we've had, 182 has been the Apple Core Media. So that's a substantial part. That's about 25% or 20% of the overall downloads.
Yeah, no, definitely a good, almost a quarter. Yeah, that's impressive. So, it just goes to show that even if you're an Apple owner, you can be an XJ Talk Show listener.
No, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It's 29.55%. Looking at the pie chart, and pulling up a second, a not so distant second, at 20.45% or 126 downloads is iTunes. So
hey,
you take the Apple Core Media and the iTunes and put them together, and you got well over 300, about almost 350 downloads. So over half of those 600 downloads have been on Apple related products.
Well, that's something else. Here I thought droids were taking over the world, but I guess I was wrong. It's Apple's.
Well, I think the problem is that there's so many different ways you can do things on an Android. Like I use BeyondPod, the BeyondPod software to download podcasts and listen to them, and it's great. I really enjoy it. But there's many different ways. Our Stitcher / Android comes in at 26 downloads, and let's see if I can find that one real quick. That's only 4.2% of the overall downloads, but Stitcher is a very easy way to listen to the show. All you have to do is download the Stitcher app and then just do a search for XJ Talk Show, and you can listen to it that way. BeyondPod takes a little effort because you need to go in and plug in the feed URL and blah 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 blah. So that's the other thing. You have to have a little knowledge under your belt to accomplish some of these things where Apple is taking care of it for you. So, God bless Apple and making it easy.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it just, gives us, I suppose, a larger listening audience, which I know tickles my fancy as well as yours. But nonetheless, I guess the point here is I was interested to see the breakdown, just because I'm a bit of a techie and I like those kind of stats and numbers and stuff like that. But nonetheless, the bottom line here is we don't care how you're doing it as long as you're doing it, I suppose.
So I don't think I mentioned any of this, but here's some more of these stats before we get everybody's ears and eyes bleeding from this. Just real quick, The United States, not surprisingly, is the top country for downloads at 90.91%. We have Canada in at 6%. The United Kingdom comes in fourth place. It's so low, it's not even a percentage. And then, interestingly enough, Indonesia and Turkey.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah, it's only one download from each one of those. I think. I'm sorry, I skipped Portugal. Portugal, there was 12 downloads. So Portugal, United Kingdom with 4, an unknown with 1. That's probably an NSA listening to us. Indonesia with 1, and Turkey with 1. So all over the world, but predominantly the U.S., of course. And also, real quick, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the U.S. markets. In radio, they have markets, and depending on what market you do well in, will help define how much money you can charge for commercials. So, and that's a very loose thing, because I didn't really pay that close attention being in IT, even though when I worked at Arbitron, the radio ratings company, I didn't pay that close attention to it. It wasn't part of my job. But anyway, I was real enthused to see that our top market is the New York market.
Oh, very interesting. I wouldn't have thought that.
Nope. New York, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and then Houston. So those are the markets that we are doing the best in. So anyway, fun with stats.
This is Brian Myers from JC Off-Road, and I just been overhauled. You're listening to XJ Talk Show.
The XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
We welcome and look forward to your questions and comments. Dial 530-675-4102 and leave your message on our 24/7 voicemail.
xjtalk.com. It's where you go when you're not off-road.
This Week in Jeep.
Well, guys, we've talked a lot about the 2014 Cherokee, and I'm not imagining that's going to stop anytime soon, at least. I'm going to be complaining about it for quite a while, I would imagine. Well, the new Jeep Cherokee advertising campaign has officially begun. The ad campaign will be vigorous and saturating. You're going to hear it on radio. You're going to see it on TV. You're probably going to see it on YouTube. You're going to see it in just about every media channel imaginable. Chrysler Jeep Corporation is, I guess, not holding back on this. They've recently released an ad that includes a Bob Dylan song to make certain generations feel nostalgic or young again, or at least so they have quoted. And of course, this is somehow going to sway them to buy a 2014 Cherokee. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I think the sales numbers are doomed from the start. Nonetheless, I think they're trying to do everything they possibly can to sell as many of these Cherokees as they can here very soon. Future ads are also going to include Ben Stiller in a character for an upcoming movie that he's doing, sort of following suit with the Dodge Durango campaigns that you may have been seeing recently with Will Ferrell's character, Ron Burgundy. I'm a big fan of Ron Burgundy, and of course, those movies have been really great. And those commercials, if you guys haven't seen them, go check them out on YouTube. They're really funny. Well, hey, Jeep fans, all of you guys out there, I imagine are Jeep fans. Of course you are if you're listening to this show. If you think the idea of a funky-looking car-based Cherokee revival is offensive, well, of course you do. Have a listen to what might be in store for the next generation Jeep Wrangler. I know right now most of you are cringing. I know I was when I first read this. Now, due to harsher government fuel economy regulations, Jeep engineers are working rigorously to make sure that the Wrangler meets its new requirements by also keeping its hardcore off-road roots intact. One of the things on the chopping block, ditching the solid axle suspension system and going the direction of, get this, an independent suspension all around. That's right, IFS on a Jeep Wrangler. Now, the next generation Wrangler will go on a serious diet overall, using aluminum body panels and an air suspension system. So the idea of a four-wheel independent suspension setup for the most popular off-road vehicle on the planet isn't all that surprising, especially considering recent moves by Jeep. Now, besides, it's not like an independent suspension would completely limit the Wrangler's off-road abilities. Just check out the Hummer H1. It's legendary and off-road for one reason or another, and also has independent suspension all around. In fact, it might be the aftermarket parts companies, not Wrangler enthusiasts or Jeep enthusiasts at all, in fact, who would be most disappointed by such a drastic suspension change. The Wrangler's solid axles and coil-link suspension make it the most popular and obviously most capable rig for customization. Well, pretty much the same thing with the Cherokee. Other possibilities that may be implemented to help the Wrangler's quest for improved fuel economy are improved aerodynamics. Oh, I'm sure that's going to look just swell. And further use of lightweight materials. Personally, I'd like to see Jeep start introducing the use of carbon fiber. Aerodynamic styling and lightweight materials were seen on this year's 2013 Jeep Moab concepts, and also Jeep is still working on introducing a diesel engine to the model line and potentially using the same power plant that's found in the diesel Grand Cherokees. Now, there are probably still a couple years before we start hearing any concrete details about the 2016 Wrangler. I know that's kind of a little ways away. But at which time, it'll be interesting to see just how stricter fuel economy and crash safety regulations have been balanced with traditional Wrangler cues, like its removable doors and roof and folding windshield. Now, there were several of you guys who sent that particular story into the XJ Talk Show. I want to thank you guys all for staying on top of breaking news and sending those stories in. Like I said earlier in the show, I get stories almost on a weekly basis, stuff that I introduce here, and I don't always give credit where credit's due. This time I got so many influxes of emails about this story in particular, I can't possibly list them all. So I want to thank everybody who sent that to me and keep up the great work. As always, I appreciate the help, guys. And if you would like to send a story in for This Week in Jeep, just send an email to newstips@xjtalk.com.
Yeah, I remember hearing or reading a story about the government looking into solid axles, front solid axles, because of the death wobble issue. Apparently, it's an inherent issue whenever you have a solid front axle. So I thought to myself, you bastards need to stay away from my four-wheel drive.
Yes.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I will be interested to see if there's anything done from the standpoint of government intervention in retrofitting these IFS Wranglers to the way God intended them to be, solid front axle.
We're going to have a big, huge campaign start up, SATSA, Save the Solid Axle.
Well, it'll also be interesting to see if the Jeep engineers are clever in as much as still making it possible to make use of Dana 30s, Dana 44s to easily swap in to the new Wranglers, because then it would make it a little easier for the garage person to, maybe buy some aftermarket shock towers or spring purchase and stuff and weld that on and get a solid axle underneath there.
I give it until the end of next year, the end of 2014, and I believe that somebody out there is going to spend the money to put some solid axles underneath a 2014 Cherokee. I know it's going to happen.
Yeah,
somebody's going to do it just because of the name badge and get back to sort of show the world this is what should have been done, and this is how cool it can be, from their perspective at least. So, we'll see. I mean, all the computer electronics and everything else that are, going into that, it's almost a drive-by-wire system. I don't know how compatible that kind of a drive system or a suspension system will be on that vehicle. So we'll see.
I'll make mention. You remember the El Camino, right?
Oh, yeah.
So an El Camino lifted with large tires on it looks really cool.
It sure does.
So does anything, pretty much. I mean, I saw some pictures of Mustangs.
I've seen a smart car lifted with big tires underneath of it. It looks cool. So,
yeah, and also too, I've even seen the first generation Jeep Liberty with solid axles front and rear and a lot of body armor, and it still looked like a Volkswagen on steroids, but it still looked a lot better. It looked like a more beefier off-road vehicle. But, I look at it this way. If you spend $5,000 on a suspension system, replacing axles and everything else, it damn well better be a good off-road vehicle. And that's kind of the point, is because it's like when the Cherokees came out. It was a very good off-road vehicle from the factory. And I guess that's the disappointing thing. No, it wasn't an attractive vehicle. It still is an attractive vehicle. It's just something that we've gotten used to because it's very distinctive, and it gets us from point A to point B, and it doesn't matter how many ups and downs and sideways are in between there. And there's a love that has formed for the vehicle. And when somebody comes in and tries to tell you that your dog, your companion or whatever is old and no longer any good, and we're replacing it with this, and it's using the same name. So we're replacing your good, trusted friend with another one with the same name. They're basically saying you need to get rid of that for this. And I think that's what rubs people the wrong way. And I'm really, really surprised that they went with the same name. I'm really surprised they didn't see that coming.
Well, geez, I'm wondering if they did. I mean, I wouldn't mind really getting a chance to ask the hard question, as why? Why did you do that? Why did you pick that name when you're getting rid of a model line that very easily could have taken on that name badge? Why would you go back and pull up the Cherokee? To my mind, it's sort of to get people talking about it and to really generate a buzz. You generate buzz, it generates interest, generates sales. I think that's how they were trying to look at it. And who knows? It might end up working. I think with all the problems that have been plagued with this design and this platform, I think the damage is already done. Can they recover from it in the long run? I don't know. Nonetheless, a big stigmata is around that name now because of sort of this controversy that they've created.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I know I'm not going to buy one. I'm not going to buy a Grand Cherokee either. No offense to the folks that have Grands, but whenever I was in the Jeep dealership in '98 to buy a TJ, and I saw the XJ, I thought, well, that's a nice looking vehicle. It's a decent vehicle. It's a Jeep. It's a 4-wheel drive. I didn't think it was in the same class as the TJ, but I didn't know anything about Jeeps then. All I knew from Jeeps was Jeeps or Wranglers, and anything else is not a Jeep in my mind. So I was very happy that after buying the Cherokee and then learning that the legendary 4.0, the legendary AW4 transmission, and also too, I was lucky enough to get the Chrysler 8.25 29 spline axle, the high pinion Dana 30. So I really this flat ass lucked out in getting all the good aspects of the Cherokee. And again, in my opinion, I only missed the best Cherokee made by 1 year. So
yeah, I didn't.
Yep. Well, but you didn't buy yours new. So
no, I didn't.
This one's had a one owner vehicle. This is a one owner vehicle, and all 170,000 miles that I've put on it were put on by me, my wife, or one of my daughters, and my daughters haven't driven it that much.
Well, I got to say that I was actually talking with somebody here recently about my Cherokee and the fact that I'm only the third owner of it, and I bought it from a college girl who got it from her parents who were the original owners.
Oh, that's great.
So
that's like a one owner. That's like a two owner.
I had a full Carfax vehicle history report on it as well going into the deal when I bought it. So I essentially knew this Cherokee from its inception. And got to see sort of exactly what had been done through it over the years and stuff like that. For the most part, I had a very good idea, more so than any of the other Cherokees that I've looked at or that I had looked at the time. Mm-hmm. So, it's I definitely have a very strong kinship to this Cherokee, even though I've been ignoring it for so long.
Well, that's just by. I want to ask you this real quick before we wrap the show up. How did Halloween go?
Oh man, yeah, we got to talk about that, don't we?
If you guys don't remember, if you don't catch the Tony and Josh show, Josh puts together a big Halloween to-do for all the kids and big or little that come by his house there in Portland. So he always gets excited and spends a lot of time during the week prior to Halloween getting set up. And I'm just asking how it went.
It was awesome. I made at least a half a dozen children cry.
Excellent.
Scared one guy clear, made him fall back and land on his butt on the pavement. I had probably a good solid 400 kids come out. Any given time through, about 6 o'clock until about 9 o'clock. there was 20 or 30 people out in front of the house. It was great. Everything went off pretty much without a hitch. There's a few things that I wish I could have gotten up in time. It was a sort of a last ditch or last minute sort of setup with some of the things, and I didn't get a chance to put up a few things that I wanted to. But nonetheless, the haunted house that I had set up in the driveway was great, and we're scaring the living what out of people all night long. It was just awesome.
Well, I hope you took some pictures or some video.
Did.
And you got to post those up on xjtalk.com for pokes. I like that.
For pokes. Just for pokes.
For pokes to watch and maybe live vicariously through that experience.
Yep. No, I did a video walkthrough, so I share that and some pictures along with you guys. Next year, it'll be even bigger and better.
Well, you know what? I don't know why we don't do that here. I certainly have the ability and the desire to scare little people because I remember doing it when I was in my mid-teens. I don't know. Maybe I should take a little time and do that. I know my wife would really enjoy it. The girls would enjoy it too.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
My wife is a big Halloween fan. Although here in the most recent years we haven't really done anything. We always have some food. Her relatives come over, her mom, her dad, her sister, and interestingly enough, my niece didn't want to go trick-or-treating this year. She's in junior high. And then she got here, and she's like whining because she wants to go trick-or-treating. So she came back with a bucket of candy. And I was trying to take various things from her. I had her holding that thing really close to her the rest of the night. It was great.
Well, I hope you guys had a great Halloween, too. Check over at xjtalk.com. I'll be posting up some pictures here next week of the whole haunted house experience in front of Northwest 99 XJ's house.
So like we said on the voicemail, we'd like to hear from you. We'd like to hear from you from various different ways, but our voicemail line is 530-675-4102. Also, remember that we're on YouTube. I just recently put up a disc brake repair video you need to go have a look at, make a comment on. Tell me everything I did wrong. So until
subscribe.
And so until next week, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you after SEMA. I have the benefit of seeing the clock, Josh.
Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as I said something, I heard the music start to kick down, and I'm like, "Oh, geez,"
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all good.
I think I started it about a minute early. I thought the outro was about 3 minutes and something, but I see here
like 2:38 or something, isn't it?
2:33.
2:33. I was close.
So it's about a minute shorter than what I thought it was. So I should have let you go another minute before I brought that in.
No, that's okay.
I wasn't trying to hurry you. You could have used that whole 2:33 for the Halloween story. I just didn't want to. I wanted to try to hold it to the hour thing.
No, it's okay.
Trying to be mindful of that. Let's see. We'll get wrapped up here real quick so you can go get some sleep. I've got to find a carry-on bag that will handle my camera and my laptop, and hopefully it will be the same one that I can carry over hopefully one shoulder at SEMA, so that I can carry that around with me. I don't know that I'll carry the laptop. I may, just so it won't be sitting in the hotel room.
Well, you gotta, maybe one of the girls' backpacks or something that's not too girly.
Well, I'm gonna buy something because I want it to be black, and also too, it has to be a certain size as a carry-on item. So I figure I can go over that a little bit. Also too, Matt is flying this airline tonight, so I should be able to get some information from him about how picky they were about the carry-on bag size. But I'm paying $20 per bag, per checked bag, which,
wow.
Yeah, it just pisses me off. I mean,
man, that sounds steep. Holy cow.
Well, if I want to carry on the bags, $30 a piece. And, maybe my wife and I could could carry on one bag and put on enough stuff in one bag, but I wasn't going to do that to her. I mean, you know how women are. They don't want to pack a bunch. They don't want to pack a little. They want to pack too much.
Yeah, no, it goes over preparing and stuff like that. I over engineer everything and over prepare. And
now let's see. You're on Google Plus, so if I give you a link, you should be able to see the picture, the new. This is the one that's going to be on this week's episode of this podcast. So it's basically the I don't want to say avatar or icon that we're using, but the image that will be the face of the podcast. Having a hard time finding it. Put it up a few days ago, so having to scroll down to see if I can find it. Yeah, I bet you it's under photos. Photos would probably be easier to find.
So you're going to post it up on your personal Google Plus, or?
Well, it's actually on the XJ Talk. I'm just going to give you the link here in the notes.
Oh, okay.
On the chat here. So I don't know if that will work for you, but I think that you'll. I think that.
Where'd you put it?
Skype chat.
Oh, there. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong screen. Let's see here. Oh, hey.
So you can kind of see where the various lines of things around the faces are. But the idea here is that this is always, you see this much smaller. So that doesn't show up as much.
There seems to be a black smudge near my eye or something.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's actually because basically on the various layers that you put onto the image, you can erase the portion of the layer that you don't want to see. And I erased it around my face, but it extended all the way across the image. So that's actually just a sliver of what was left from what I was erasing off of the image that I overlaid that had my picture on it.
Gotcha.
And also, too, I added in the names so people would know who we are.
You know, I kind of like that.
I was trying to find a high definition picture of you, and although I didn't, I wanted to find one that was more, of a smile and stuff. And actually, I think this worked out better because I've got the smile on mine, and yours is the more, what am I doing here kind of look. What the hell am I doing here?
Oh, that's funny. No, I like that. I mean, from the sort of the placeholder that we've used in the past, the one that's like that you've used for the signature banners and stuff like that. I think this is definitely an improvement.
Yeah, those were low res pictures too, and
it turned out pretty good.
Well, no, on the older one.
Oh, the old one. Yeah.
It was more low res images, and I hadn't. Not as much learning had gone on for the on the software I was using. So this has a little more of a 3D look to it with shadowing and some. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Not glow, bevels. So it gives it a more rounded look on the characters, the letters. Anyway, thought I'd share that with you, and people will start seeing that on tonight's podcast. Whenever I before I upload this podcast, that will be the image that I'll be putting on the attaching to the MP3 file.
Oh, okay, cool.
So for anybody that's still left watching the live event, this is the post show, and here's some comments. I wish they would put the numbers for the people that are the count of people watching closer to where the comments are, so I could read these comments during the show. So this is pretty good. Paddle Trucker said he was dozing. Have a good one. Oh, that's the top. I'm reading the wrong way. So, yeah, Paddle Trucker says, wait, am I the only one? Hi, guys, late, but I'm here. And then, I don't know, here's EROBJKU. He said, hi. Nope. How's it going? And Paddle Trucker said, I thought I was the only one here for a bit. And there's Jim. Yeah, Jim says he wasn't paying much attention to the comments. Paddle Trucker says, good. I didn't think I was going to make it to the show. Just got in off the road. I'll take in the show, and then it's off to bed. I've been driving since early in the morning. Oh, bless his heart. Well, I bet you that is rough.
Yeah.
Oh, now I forget what I was talking about. He says, Paddle Trucker says, Tony had a new toy. Arab.
Oh, he was talking about when you were talking about getting those Fiverr comments back, or
yes,
back.
That's exactly right. And Arab says, I'm using an Apple laptop right now. Paddle Trucker. Oh, he says, me too. I would never go back to anything Microsoft, but that's because of customer service issue I had with them. Cost me $1,600 and could not possibly care any less. Man, I can't imagine Microsoft buying anything from Microsoft that was $1,600. Unless it was some server stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, some Mac talk there. Customer service makes a huge difference. It's just like this issue I had with the rough country track bar. It's not anything that I want to take off road and bend again. So yet another reason for me not to go off road. But they do have very good customer service, very nice folks over there at Rough Country, and I think they're always trying to improve their product, but still be able to make a living doing it. So, which I understand.
I've heard the same thing. Occasionally something might break or it wears out sooner than was expected, but one called Rough Country and they're on top of it. The same thing I've heard. The customer service is top notch over there,
yep.
That's good to hear.
Well, when I bent my track bar, it was, I finally figured out that it was bent. So keep in mind, I continued to use the track bar as it was for the next 3 or 4 months.
I did the same thing when I bent up my ZJ tie rod.
Yeah.
I drove it around. I straightened it out with a tree strap around a tree, or a toe strap around a tree, and drove it back around for probably a good 3 or 4 months. Yeah.
Well, I didn't even notice. The only thing is that I tried to climb up the embankment of that creek, and then I was driving off into a field someplace after not making it up that embankment, and I noticed I was driving straight, but the steering wheel wasn't. It's like, oh man, something's wrong here, because it was way out. So I climbed up underneath the Jeep and looking around, I couldn't find any issues. So it wasn't until 3 or 4 months later that I was replacing something, and I noticed that there was a distinctive curve, more so in that track bar than what that I had remembered being there. And I got to thinking about it, put 2 and 2 together, and realized that thing was bent. That's what bent, and it was from me pressing that Jeep up against a big mound of dirt. So I took a picture. I took a picture for the website, but I happened to have the picture because I wanted to show RC as well, and sent them a message. That was the weekend I was working on it. So Monday I sent them a message and sent them a picture. Actually, I sent them a message and said, hey, my track bar bent, my heavy duty track bar bent. And they said, just send us a picture and a receipt, and we'll get you a new one out. And
oh, wow.
I was able. I mean, I all I had was an email because I'd bought it online from one of the XJ Talk vendors actually, and I sent them an email that had the purchase on it and sent them a picture, and I think the replacement track bar was in by Thursday, and that following weekend I replaced it.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's been great ever since. I haven't been off road since then, but so that's why I think it'll do fine on the 99 because, if the 99 goes off road, it'll be very minimal and I probably won't know about it.
Yeah. Yeah. You think so?
Well, Cassie, who is not a, she's not a adventurous person. I mean, she's a little timid when it comes to doing things. I think she likes the idea of doing things adventurous, but she's a little more timid, a little more scary than what her younger sister is. Her younger sister's more like me. But after I put the lift kit on it, she says, "So what?" I think I told you this. She says, "So where all can I go now?" With this lift, where all can I go?
You can go anywhere you want to.
Yeah, I basically told her, I said, this just gives you a little more clearance between the differentials and the ground. So it was very capable before. So I need to take her off, her and Mandy off road and give them an idea. I'll let them drive it. I mean, they've been with me in the Jeep at Creekside, and they both really enjoyed it, but they haven't driven anything like that off road. And just so you guys understand, basically what's going on is Josh is typing up some notes that we're going to be using for our promo. We've been doing these little video promos, and we're actually advertising on YouTube now with video promo. So we're one of those annoying advertisements that come up before you can watch your show, or the ones where you click to skip this ad. It's just so we're if you haven't seen one, it's probably a good bet you haven't, because we're only spending about $2 a day. But through that, after a week, we have about 1,500 views of our 30-second promos, Josh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I thought this was interesting. Let's see if I can find it again. Yeah, Paddle Trucker says, IFS on a Jeep Wrangler? Holy crap, what a mistake. Tony will turn on the new Wrangler if they do that. So will I.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will.
Yeah, that's going to be bad. I mean, I understand. And this is just another reason why the government needs to stay the hell out of our business.
Now, unless Jeep engineers come up with something completely brand new, and I'm talking way out of left field, never before seen type of double jointed independent suspension type of system where you can still get massive articulation, they're really going to have to go above and beyond substantially to win over the hardcore off-road enthusiasts, and it's going to have to be strong.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they can do it. I don't know if they can do it.
My concern on the IFS is, and I may be wrong about this, but my concern is that it's not as strong as a solid axle. Now,
well, the axles themselves aren't as strong either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if they could make it where you're not going to break it, unless it just took a hell of a lot to break it, because you can break anything, then that might be okay. But even at that, I think that solid axles have some benefits over IFS, because doesn't it allow you to get better articulation? Because one side goes up, the other one goes down, and the leverage, I'm trying to say I can't remember what it's called, but basically it's just simply because it's not independent, it gives you some more abilities to get through things that you would normally be able to get through.
Yeah, and there's going to be these little tiny third members that are going to be. I mean, how are they going to develop the kind of traction devices that are going to be mass market? I mean, this is going to be. They're going to have to completely revamp the entire aftermarket for this. I don't know. I mean, it would be the end of the Wrangler or the beginning of something completely different.
Well, I still believe that people will, especially if Dana 30s and Dana 44s and things like that are widely available. That's what you're going to see people are going to be doing. They'll be ripping that IFS out of there and putting in a straight axle. Now,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't understand necessarily how that you get the power to the IFS, and if that also means that if you're going straight axles, you also have to change the back of the transmission and the transfer case, and then that's really going to get ugly.
Oh, geez. Could you imagine if they ended up doing like an inverted engine, clock 90 degrees? It's a front wheel drive Wrangler with 4-wheel drive compatibilities.
Yeah, I can see that from a gas mileage standpoint.
I mean, it hurts thinking about it. It just hurts.
Somebody needs to come out with a way to generate a lot of electricity would be fine if you could generate a lot of electricity, and basically it no longer is a fuel issue. And now you start putting in, you put in 4 computer-controlled electric motors.
Yeah,
electric motors. So you do away with transfer case, transmission, the whole 9 yards, and it's direct drive. It's a lot like a RC car, but you have torque that is enough where it could kill you.
Yeah.
Because if the computer would let you, and you didn't have an inertial dampening system like they have on the Enterprise, you would just be a greasy spot in the Jeep. No, but seriously, I mean, electric motors would just be an incredible thing as long as you could keep them going underwater, which I think you could seal them well enough so that they would be great underwater, and the torque would be amazing. The weight would be low because they would be at, if you kept them down towards the wheels, and you could twist axle shafts off, but again, if you had they were computer controlled and kept them, you'd have to keep them in sync. Anyway, I just see the electric motors being a huge thing for off-road, the off-road market, but the problem is generating enough electricity. So it would be really cool if we had little nuclear reactors for power generation.
Oh, or even the hydrogen cells.
Well, the fuel cell is the whole issue is the amount of energy that you can get out of the space.
Yeah.
Whereas,
it's coming along, but it's not happening fast enough.
No, I think the high pressure nature of how much hydrogen you have to put into a container is the issue, because those things would be extremely high pressure and therefore very dangerous. Nice little explosive.
I mean, we could go down the HHO road.
I thought that was the same thing as the hydrogen fuel cell.
Well, I heard this. It's slightly different, but I mean, there are a lot of people that are creating HHO generation device. I mean, it's no bigger than a passenger seat of a car. Some of them are even less, and they're running their vehicle off of it. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. Then I thought it was hydrogen, oxygen is what the HHO stands for. 2 hydrogens and oxygen, which is water.
Yeah, it's water. Yeah, I'll have to do some research on it. Maybe I can find an article where somebody did it to a Jeep.
So, if I understood correctly, the thing about the independent front suspension for the Wrangler, that was the story that I sent you, I believe.
You sent it to me. 2 people from XJ Talk sent it to me. I got 3 people from Naxtra that sent it to me. Yeah.
Okay. That was going to be my question. If that's the one you were talking about that you heard so much about. Yeah, I just happened to look, just trying to find some Wrangler information that we could add into the show, and I saw that and I went, "Wow, this is a great time to go off and look." So that was completely disconsequential of the timing that of me going and looking at that. So you think you got something here that we can read?
Yeah, so following the same format as before, with the yellow highlighting being your script. I think are we still broadcasting?
Yeah, I was just getting ready to tell everybody good night. So, guys, thanks a lot. We're going to record our show promo, which you can see on YouTube, and that's youtube.com/user/xjtalk. If you're not a subscriber on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you don't listen to the Tony and Josh show, please listen. Don't be that guy. And also to subscribe to the Tony and Josh show on YouTube, which is youtube.com/user/the Tony and Josh show. Somebody didn't think that through when they named that channel. But we'd really appreciate you subscribing to us over there so we can get enough subscriptions so that we can do our Tony and Josh show live event on YouTube, actually on that channel and not doubling up on the XJ Talk channel. So anyway, till next week, and we will be here next week. I am going to SEMA this week, but I will be back on Saturday, and so Sunday should be a go for us. Anything can happen, but as far as the scheduling goes, it should be fine. So we'll see you next week for episode 102.
Very cool. See you guys then.